and welcome. Welcome to this Q&A with Raindance on their amazing script competition. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Hayley McKenzie and I'm the founder of Script Angel, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined tonight by Max Santana from Raindance. So Max, tell me a little bit about, just want to quickly kind of for the guys, give us a quick intro. Who are you? What do you do?
Yes, thank you. Hi, Haley. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. It is a very exciting opportunity to talk about the competition. I am the coordinator of the competition, and this is the first year that we've introduced so many new changes, and that's why I'm excited to talk about these new changes, what it means for the competition and Raindance in general.
Fantastic. So obviously I've been aware of the Raindance Film Festival for a really long time, incredibly prestigious, incredibly well regarded, particularly in the indie filmmaking space. Um, Tell me a little bit about the script competition and how it sits inside the wider Raindance ecosystem.
Well, yes, the script competition runs parallel to the festival. We have the same deadlines, we have the same submission platform, and we announce the winners the same time we announce the winners for the festival. So it runs parallel and it's part of the festival. It is part of the Reynolds ecosystem. Uh, and this is the first year that we have new changes that we're trying to revamp the way it it is part of the environment of the Reynolds environment, other than just being an add-on. This time it's about making the competition stand out for itself as well.
Yeah, fantastic. And in that sense, is that what makes, because obviously we both know there are an awful lot of script competitions out there. Is that the thing that makes this one different? You know, because obviously people have got a lot of choice about what they invest their money in terms of that submission fee. You know, one script competition is a small amount of money, times by 100, it's a lot. Why would they choose Raindance? What's it got that others don't?
Y- Yes, we do recognize that there are so many competitions out there, not just competitions, festivals in general. It has become so accessible to make your own festival, and that makes the option for writers and filmmakers to have, so many options, and that makes deciding where to spend your money because we recognize that it is not something that is accessible. However, with the Rainance brand that we have, we are using this opportunity to be able to connect the writers with different industry professionals and serve more than just being a competition where we celebrate the writers and give them laurels and just a diploma, right? This time is about um, the thing that really sets us apart and hopefully will be a good part of this year's competition is that the writers, not just the winners, will have industry access to through the discovery list and through the Rainance readers. That more than just a competition again that hands out laurels, it will be a way to break into the industry.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I think that's the thing that's really excited me because, as you know, at Script Angel, you know that we get approached frequently by script competitions wanting us to spread the word to our lovely writing community. And for me, script competitions are only valuable to writers if they get you read by people you should be getting read by. Like laurels just don't, like, they're lovely, but for me the important thing is, what does this do for you? Who do you get to meet? Who do you get read by? Who do you get connected with? So I was so excited when you mentioned the discovery list, which is new for next year. So can you just tell the guys a little bit about what that is and why you're moving in that direction?
Yes, the discovery list is essentially our finalist slate. So, but however, we will have these scripts and have them read by different producers, different industry partners. And It's like a curated selection of the best scripts that we read throughout the competition,
Yeah.
and they're all finalists. We will still have the common winners like best feature, best short, best TV. However, we also recognize that a script may win a category, but what happened to the second place? What happened to the third place?
Mm-hmm.
I think by introducing the discovery list, we make sure that all of these scripts that are a standout get to be read by different people and not just go all the way to the final just to lose.
Yeah.
This is not about winners or losers. This is about everyone getting the opportunity to be read. And
Yeah.
that's why the discovery list will be like the calling card from the competition to producers, to industry to say, we've read these scripts, we think these scripts have a very promising future and we'd like you to read them.
Yeah. And those again, like the fantastic emerging producers that you've got that you're partnering with are really exciting, and it's such a great opportunity for writers to get their work read, but for emerging writers to get read by emerging up and coming producers who are doing really great work and are open to reading essentially your recommendations that come through the script competition.
Yes.
That's great. That's very exciting. So we touched on categories there, Max. Like, again, is it worth just kind of going through what the categories are and if there are particular eligibility criteria around any of those categories or all of them?
Yes. So we cover four different categories. All of the categories are unproduced scripts. So it's either feature scripts that can be anything from 60 pages and on. We don't really have like a page limit.
Okay.
And I mean, if your script is 121 pages, it will be read as any other script. There are so many competitions that kind of set a limit at 120,
Yeah.
but we understand that some stories that have more pages than because of what they're dealing with, right?
Okay.
We also have short scripts that can go from anywhere from 1 page to 40 pages.
Fantastic.
And we have TV, and it is split between comedy and drama.
Okay.
Um,
And are those comedy and
it is also
drama?
important to know that we do accept adaptations as well. Oh,
No, sorry.
sorry.
Carry on.
Oh, yeah, just to add a bit more, we accept adaptations as long as the writer has the rights to adapt certain work.
Okay. Fantastic. And with those TV, the comedy and the drama, um, when the guys are submitting, do they have to choose which category they're putting in for? Do they have to specify that, or are you doing that based on the length of the script?
No, yes, they choose which category their script fits the most. So
Lovely.
it's not necessarily about like a 60-page script is directly a drama. If they think their 60-page script is a comedy, it is a comedy and will be
Fantastic.
read as a
Okay.
comedy.
Brilliant. Um, is it worth? I'm just going to say to all of our lovely viewers, if you do have any questions, do pop them in the Q&A, ideally in the Q&A box rather than the chat box. Just so we can keep them all in one place, and I will put those to Max at the end. But this is so interesting. Is it might be worth diving into the comedy slash drama question now? Because this is something that comes up, and I'm sure your readers will encounter as well. Is like, what do you do if it's a comedy drama? Does such a thing exist, and what should they put those scripts into? Like, have you briefed your readers on what is a comedy and what is a drama?
Yes, I think we do go based by what the writer submitted as. If they submitted the script as a comedy, we'll make sure to read it as a comedy. And if it's like a 60-minute comedy, we'll read it as a 60-minute comedy, not like a sitcom that is 20, 30 minutes. It just depends on what the writer submits, and that's how we'll read it. However, there's also in the platform, there's also a space for the writer to send us a cover letter saying, this is my script. I know it's 60 pages, it's a comedy, but this is what I intend to get from the reader's opinion, something like that.
Yeah.
There's a space for the writers to give more specific details as to how their script is meant to be read.
Yeah, fantastic. And is it so? Because again, we've had this a lot. This question comes up a lot, Script Angel. Which is my script a comedy or is it a drama? And my take would be, just as a kind of steer, if you're putting it into the comedy category, it needs to be properly funny, not just have some witty lines at some point. Would that be a fair like steer? Because you're saying I'm funny if you're putting it in for comedy.
Yes, I think I do recognize that it can be like a tricky situation there. But even still, we do consider it as a TV.
Yeah.
So it ranks within like the big category of TV. If it's a script that maybe blends both genres, but
Hmm.
also take that in consideration.
Great. That's really interesting. And are there are there really are there things that you often see with script submissions that either make a script stand out or kind of really make it challenging for the reader to put it forward?
Yes, on what makes a script stand out. We are a script competition, but we are also part of Raindance. So
Hmm.
Raindance has a brand, it has a vision. Uh, we would probably not select a script that is very, very expensive sci-fi and it has so many requirements and it probably costs about like 200 million to produce because this is not what Raindance is for.
Yeah.
This is we understand that independent filmmaking comes with so many budget constraints, but those constraints also lead to creativity.
Yeah.
And then, so we look for that in the script. Is it creative? Is it innovative? It has strong character development? Does it have cultural and social relevance, critical engagement? In the end, it's about what makes a Raynan script, a Raynan film, and if it truly represents the independent filmmaking that we champion.
That's so
Uh,
no.
we receive any script. I mean, if it's good, the script is good.
Yeah.
But we really like when a script that we read feels very Rainlands.
Yeah. So is that part of the judging criteria? Is that something that your readers are being asked to consider when they're evaluating the scripts that come in?
Yes, definitely. We all the time we know this is Rainlands. For example, if you look at the festival, the films that get picked there, the films that win there, they truly represent the independent filmmaking that we champion. So of course, and during the reader process, we're looking for the same qualities in a script that we would look in a film.
That's so useful to know because I think a lot of writers will just understandably put into every script competition the same script that they just think is good or most recently finished and they're now kind of submitting everywhere. I think being really mindful of the context of Raindance and that independent filmmaking spirit is a really useful steer. Um, and it'd be good to have a sense of, before we talk about the, the 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 issues we often find in scripts that get submitted that don't progress through a comp. Um, is it worth just talking a little bit about that judging process? So, what happens to the script when it gets submitted, Max? What's that process look like?
Yes. Okay, so we will read every script that is submitted, but we've noticed a recent surge in scripts written by or aided by artificial intelligence. So, of course, we would never champion a script that is written by AI, and we would flag it internally and make sure it doesn't go beyond the initial reading. We, of course, I mean, we champion independent filmmaking. We champion writing that comes from the one writer expressing their vision, their heart, their passion into a script.
Yeah.
So we do with the rise of AI. I think we are being very careful when reading a script just to flag any inconsistencies when it comes to AI. Or we also see often scripts that may not be written according to the industry standards. However, we do also recognize that if a story is good, it is good, and maybe it is not written with the proper standard, but if this story is good, we may be able to reach out and say, we are interested in your story, but we do recognize that you um, there's still something that can be done when it comes to proper formatting.
I was going to say, is that about the way it looks on the page? Are you getting submissions sometimes that don't look like a script? They haven't been written with screenwriting software, for example.
Uh, when I say that, it's mostly about just small errors when it comes to formatting. When it comes to maybe not introducing a character properly, maybe having some differences in the way you would structure the action directions, the dialogue. There's like small inconsistencies that may not directly hurt the quality of the script, but they would hurt the reading experience. That's sometimes some stuff that we normally come up with, but we do recognize that if the story is good, it is good regarding of the estate.
Okay, great. And are there any submission requirements or eligibility requirements that our writers should be aware of? For example, do you accept international submissions?
Yes, we do accept international submissions. However, if the script is written, for example, in Spanish, there has to be a translation that is in English so we can read it. Um, it is tricky, yes, but we do want to encourage everyone from around the world to submit their script. And then as long as there is an English copy, we're happy to take it in consideration.
So we were kind of before you very kindly jumped onto the AI question, which is a tricky one, I know. Yeah, tell me a little bit about yeah, the judging process, because I think one of the questions we had earlier, I don't know if you've managed to catch it, was around uh, numbers of scripts and how they get evaluated and how many make it through to the quarters and through to the finals, and just kind of what those numbers look like. You can be very ballpark with this, Max, obviously.
Yes, so we will make a short list of around 64 scripts that would make it to the quarters. And then to the semifinals, it will be 32 maybe. And then to the discovered list will be around 16 and 20. The reading process it starts from it's we've started the reading process months ago. So we have to read every script that comes in, and then each script gets its own internal rating, internal comments that we between the reading team discuss, and that's when we decide to uh, follow up on a script that stood out to a different reader, and
Yeah,
then we get more opinions on that script, and then more opinions, and that helps us filter the scripts that will make it to the quarters.
yeah, fantastic. And can writers submit multiple scripts?
Yes, everyone is free to submit as many scripts as they want to. However, every submission is a different fee.
Yeah, yeah, understood. And can writers submit as a co-writing partnership? Do you accept co-written projects?
Yes, yes, everyone's welcome to submit their script, but just to take in consideration that when it comes to the prices, when it comes to consultations, it'll be up to the writers to decide if both take it, if just one takes it. It's just we welcome everyone to submit the script, but then if needed, they'll have to discuss who gets what and
Yeah.
whatnot.
And obviously, you mentioned that you accept adaptations earlier, which is really interesting. Is that something you find comes through quite a lot?
Uh, yes, most of the adaptations that come through are from public domain, so there's not an issue there.
Okay.
Are stories that have been told many times.
Yeah.
But however, I think there have been some specific uh, scripts that are an adaptation, and we wondered, oh, okay, this is interesting, but does the writer have the rights to write such adaptation? That's why we need to be clear about this. We can accept adaptations as long as they have the rights to
Yeah.
that.
So presumably that's part of the eligible of the kind of terms and rules of the competition, that if they're putting a script in, it has to be they have to own the rights, whether that's because they've created it originally themselves, or it's based on public domain IP, or it's based on copyrighted IP, but they have got the rights to that material. Is that
Yes, they need to have the rights, and uh, they will keep the rights even if it wins. If not, they will always retain the rights of the script.
yeah, that's something else I was going to ask, because obviously this is true for most script competitions, but sometimes when there are producers involved, it's a little bit more grey. But just to be clear, that when a writer submits a script to the Raindance Film Festival script competition, they're retaining all the rights in that script until presumably up until or unless a producer makes an offer to option it. Would that be right?
Yes, but that would be like an external conversation
Yes.
that will happen thanks through the competition, but that would be a different conversation
Yeah.
between producer and writer.
But presumably that's the hope of something like the discovery list, is that those outstanding scripts that you're identifying through the script competition are then read by some fantastic emerging producers who may be interested in taking that project on, right?
Yes, definitely. I think that's our goal. This is what we are so committed to extend the list of producers that we have with us. Um, even if the script doesn't get picked up by that producer, that already gives the writer the experience
Yes.
that they will very much need as they continue to present their script to the world. This is just giving them an insight into how the industry works once your script gets the interest of someone.
Yeah. And are all the category finalists invited to the Raindance Film Festival? Like how does that bit of the process work?
Yes, so all of the scripts that are selected to be in the discovery list, all of the writers will receive complimentary accreditation to attend the festival. That will include access to the festival, all screenings, all panels, all conversations, opportunities to network with other filmmakers that will also be attending the festival. So that is a very exciting opportunity also to network.
Yeah. This is even without all the other elements. I think that prize in itself is so valuable because that's about building relationships, right? With other filmmaking talent who you might go on to develop work with.
Yes, that is. I think most of the industry happens through networking conversations, through very casual meetings to say like, "Hey, this is me. This is the script that I have. What do you do?" And then that's how you start meeting people. That's how you make connections.
Yeah.
And festivals do give access to that.
Yeah. Fantastic. We've got a few more questions coming in, so I'm going to take a couple of those.
Yeah.
Do you accept an adaptation of a writer's own work, as in they're adapting their short to a feature, but the short's already been made?
Yes. I mean, as long as they have the rights, as mentioned before. However, it is important to note as well that all of the scripts submitted to us have to be unproduced.
Yeah.
So what happens if the script is said to be filmed? That is a possibility, but as long as it happens after the ceremony, the award ceremony in June.
Yeah.
If your script is set to start production on July, that's not an issue for us. However, if your script, I mean, at the time you submitted the script, it was unproduced, but then a month before the festival it gets made, that's when we'd have to have a conversation about if the script can be eligible or not.
Yeah. Understood. But it's fine if the short was produced if what you've put in is the feature screenplay version, which is unproduced.
Yes, as long as it is unproduced and you have the rights.
You have the
Yes.
rights, which again depends who produced the short. If you made it yourself, you definitely still retain the rights. If a producer made it,
Yeah.
that's a conversation you need to have. And check your contract. Another one in from Philip. Hi, Philip. What were the hot topics from last year's competition? Love that.
Yes. Okay. So we do receive like a wide range of scripts there. Trends. Normally we see lots of dark comedies, especially when it comes to the short scripts. We get so many dark comedies. Uh, but on features we got very interesting scripts that delve into the complexities of humans and the way they interact with the world, especially while going through any important change. This may be a bit generic, but anyway, I think it's just very scripts that really make you think. At least I mean, if you take a look at the scripts that were shortlisted last year, the short script that won, it was a very, very compelling story about two young people reconnecting with their sexuality after one of them was diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah.
So it was a very compelling and moving script that tells something that we don't often see.
Mm-hmm.
We see stories about cancer very often. But we don't really see what happens after one gets a diagnosis, after one gets like uh, how they interact with the world after the diagnosis, especially
Mm.
what focus on sexuality. So that was a very interesting script that I'm very happy. Also, that is a script that has already been shot. So that's also that something that is very exciting for the competition. That a script that won last year has already been produced.
Fantastic. Since the competition. That's amazing. Yeah. And I think many more of those successes are going to start to come out of the script competition, um the more it kind of sits inside that Raindance Film Festival space. It's really exciting. And on that subject,
Yes.
actually, we've got another question in, Max, which is I wasn't aware that Raindance really focused on indie level writing, as in lower budget. Is there an upper limit which you work to, say anything over 5 to 10 million, that just wouldn't progress no matter how good it may be?
Like I mentioned before, we will read every script, and if a script is good, it will be celebrated. Uh, so there's not, I mean, if a script is very good and says like it costs maybe like 30 million to produce, if it's good and if in our opinion it does feel like the right choice to make to celebrate as a winner, it will be celebrated as the winner. Uh, However, we do also look out for those scripts that reflect the filmmaking, like independent filmmaking spirit
Yeah.
more.
And also, I think that that indie spirit isn't just about the budget either, is it? It's about the kinds of stories that you can tell as an independent filmmaker. So it's
Yes, it also is about like the levels of creativity used while telling the story.
yeah. So I think indie in a slightly broader sense rather than just a budget cap. And also because, we're all readers, we're not line producer. Everyone who's reading is not a line producer. We could have a
Yeah.
stab at a budget, but it's not a line producer doing the
Mhm.
script read with a cap in mind. That's not quite what
Yes,
is kind of implying here.
definitely. This is, for example, it is not like we're looking for a feature film that takes place in just one room and there's just two characters and it costs only 2K to film. No, we're looking at any kind of script as long as it just reflects this creativity and this passion for indie filmmaking that Rainance carries as a brand.
Yeah, absolutely. Love that. Thank you. Great question though. Another one in. I'm a UK writer, but I wrote a short script based in the US. Would it still be possible for my script to get produced and made in the US if selected as a winner?
Yes, that is, as mentioned before, any script can be selected as a winner. It doesn't matter where the story takes place. I think it is in the end up to us as a team to be able to connect the script with the right person
Yeah,
to look at.
yeah. And I think what Max was referring to before is more that obviously Raindance is a UK based film festival, so it has more relationships with UK filmmakers and producers than it does other territories. But that's only about how helpful can they be. It doesn't
Yes,
it doesn't come into the equation of does it win the script competition or not. That'd be fair to say.
yes, and in the end, as mentioned, we would do our best to look out for a script. If it takes place in a different place, we'd do our best to find the people that this script can go to. So this is part of our
Yeah.
mission to be able to connect the writers, even if they're not UK based, even also if it's not just UK, even if they're not London based, which is very
Yes.
important as well. The industry in the UK is not just in London.
No.
So if the script takes place in anywhere outside London, we'll make
This is a good thing, right?
our
Yeah,
commitment
absolutely.
to
Yeah.
look for someone that takes care of that outside of London.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I would say my experience of attending Raindance Film Festival last year was that it was really well attended actually by US indie filmmakers.
Yes, we do have a very strong network in in the US, especially as we are soon to host Raindance in the US as well. There aren't many details there yet, but we're looking at expansion
Yeah,
in Utah. So it's all, but also there are network hubs all around the world.
yeah,
There's Raindance in Canada, in different countries we have presence. So that is also important.
yeah. Fantastic. Um, I've just got a couple more questions. So,
Yeah.
so we will probably wrap kind of in the next 5 minutes, guys. So, if you've got any more questions, pop them in the Q&A box, and I'll put those to Max. Um, from your experience, what are some of the common mistakes that writers make when entering a competition, and how can they avoid them?
I would say, and this also applies for festivals in general, when submitting a script that may not fit the vision of such festival that you're applying to. Uh, but also, I think some scripts are sometimes we get scripts that are perhaps it reads as if it is a first draft, or even it is labeled as this is my first draft. And it's okay. You know, everyone is welcome to submit whatever they want to submit, but I think it a first draft is not really that perfect, and everyone knows that. I myself as a writer, I do recognize that as first draft is just the first step towards getting your script
Yeah,
into a good shape. And I think we recommend everyone to take the time they need to write a script. And then whenever they do feel like it is strong enough and they have received feedback from different sources to say, yes, your script is ready to start doing a festival run.
yeah, taking it to the
Yes,
world. Yeah, I would absolutely concur with that. I'd just say kind of try really hard to do everything you can to put in your best possible version of that story you want to tell, and use whatever means you have available to you to really iterate that script before you start sending it out to comps.
yes, definitely. And also it is about it's not about like meeting a deadline when it comes to the competition because if not this year, there's always also the opportunity to submit next year whenever you feel like the script is more ready to be read by different people.
Yeah. Oh, which brings me actually, because I'm sure we'll be having this conversation next year. Can writers submit the same script that they have submitted in previous years for the competition?
That is something that we need to discuss, but so far, yes, they can do it, but that is something that will be
Yeah.
discussed more in depth.
I think that because we've had a similar
However,
debate.
sorry, as long as the script didn't place within
Yes.
the finalist,
Yes.
uh, it is free to submit again.
Yeah. And I think my kind of add on to that would be it's only worth you doing that if you feel like you've made it better since the last time you put it in and it didn't place. So I think
Yes,
absolutely.
definitely, because drafts can change very drastically.
Yeah.
From one to the other, it can become like a whole different story. So it's
Yeah.
a different experience for the reader. But at the same time, we do recognize that if it already placed within our top scripts, well, I think
Yes.
there are different avenues to take that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that makes a lot of sense. Before I go to sort of my last question and wrap up, was there anything else you wanted to make sure we all knew about, Max?
Yes, I just wanted to dive a bit more into the discovery list and what it means.
Hmm.
Because discovery list is not just about the finalists. With this new introduction of being able to get the scripts read by different people in the industry, that also means that if from the first stage, from the first read, we come into a script that fits the specific vision of a producer that we have in our network, we are going to take that script to the producer, even if it doesn't make it to the final.
Yeah.
So, for example, a script can be sent to a producer, and it may not be lucky enough to get to the quarters because with a different reader had a different opinion.
Yeah.
However, if the script is exactly what the producer is looking for, we're going to make that meeting happen.
Yeah. Fantastic. And again, just
However,
to
it is
reassure,
also
sorry, I was just going to dive in and say, just to reassure writers that again, the producer won't have any rights on that unless or until they
yes,
option that work. This is just a way to be read and to start a conversation
yes,
with the producer.
and also this is also important to note that having your script read by producers does not guarantee development
Yeah.
or anything in particular. This is a way to get your script read.
Yeah.
Or of course, the main goal is for that script to be picked up to be developed. But yes, industry partners may evaluate the scripts for development, advisory involvement, or future collaboration with the writer at their own discretion. but this does not guarantee development, representation, or production.
Yeah, understood. I think that's super clear. And again, incredibly helpful because I think the same thing that we hit all the time is writers feeling like they have a really good script and they just can't get it read by producers. So I think your discovery list is a fantastic addition. Just had something in. I'm going to say to, is it Lynn Hay? I didn't receive your question. I think that one has been lost, Lynn Hay. So if you want to pop it in again, that might have been when I disappeared.
I think it is I missed the information about submitting a TV script. If the criteria was any different than those for feature film scripts in terms of genre. I think that's the question. It's from the same user.
Okay.
I think it might have come when you weren't here. So her question is, I missed the information about submitting a TV script. If the criteria was any different than those for feature film scripts in terms of genre. If I understand your question, it's more about are there any differences in genres in features? And if that's the question, no, every feature will be read with the same thing in mind. It's not going to be divided into comedy feature or into drama feature. It all goes into the same categories of features.
Yeah, I think that answers it brilliantly. Thank you.
Oh yes, and I have another question here that is
Yeah.
just about the deadline for the script submissions. The deadline is March 2nd, so less than a month before we close the window of submission. However, I think the month after the submissions close, we start the new window for the next year.
Yeah. So there's always an opportunity. So we've got another one from Henry. Hi there. Thanks for the talk. You're very welcome. Can you enter the same script into two categories? For example, I'm working on a 25 to 30-minute pilot for a series, but it could also work as a standalone short as well. Oh, that's really interesting.
Yes, I'm going to jump in because we do receive so many of these scripts. So they are labeled as short. The title of the script short, and then another submission, the same title, but it says feature. So yes, we do receive scripts like that.
Yeah.
And of course, each one is evaluated as a short or a feature, depending on how specific the writer is. But yes, you can submit your script, even if it's the same story, but in different formats.
Yeah, fantastic. As long as, again, I think you're being really specific that this version of the script really works as short, and that's the one you put in for the short category. And actually, this version really works as a pilot for a series, and it's a really strong pilot, and so it goes into that category.
Yes, definitely. And that also, in a way, it tells us more about the writer themselves, that they are able to, play with their story in different formats and while their vision remains
Yeah,
the
I
same.
think we've all done it. We've all worked on projects that have had different lives in different formats. Absolutely. So yeah, we totally
And
understand.
also, I think it's, for example, so many stories. So, I mean, there are so many times where like we see features that were initially a short. So we also understand that you have a short, but then you also have the feature ready in case someone really likes it.
Yeah, fantastic. Love that. Can the script be a proof of concept short? I'm considering submitting the POC short and its feature. Yeah,
I think yes. I mean, it just that tie in like in the previous question. Yes, as long as the vision is clear, as long as it's well written, I think we're going to read everything. We're going to evaluate. We're going to champion any story.
Yeah, fantastic. I hope that answers it. I think it does. Thank you, Max. Anything else you wanted to talk about, Max, before I wrap this up?
I think
Guys, if you
I
want.
think we've covered everything we need to cover. We do also have some of the prizes consultations with Script Angel and the masterclass.
Yes.
But that is something that you
Which I
can
can talk about.
talk about.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited to be part of the prize package for the Raindance Film Festival Script Competition this year. So each of the category winners will receive a one-on-one consultation with Script Angel about that project, which I'm really excited about. And then also I will be doing a scripted development masterclass for the finalists. I want to say
Finalists, yes,
yes.
those in the discovery list, yeah.
Yeah. So yes, all of that will happen after the announcements. But yeah, really excited
Yes, and
to see the projects that come through and to be
Yes,
help.
and just to add up to that, to share is that we're currently actively working on bringing more benefits prices to get it to expanding our list of producers. So it is something that since it's our first year, we are actively working every day on bringing more and more and more, so
Yeah,
we can help as many people as we can.
yeah,
Because I think in the end, this is what we just to go back to what I mentioned initially. This is about this is not just about winners and losers and that's it. No, this is about helping as many people as possible to get the script read. Of course, the laurel will be nice to have,
yeah,
but then this is just it is about helping those break into the industry, and this is our commitment to the future. Yes, just to also reflect the Raindance values to understand that I mean, it is very hard to get your script read by someone, but it is also very hard just to submit your script. That's why we offer fee waivers. That's why we offer discounts in order to try to encourage as many people as possible to submit their scripts.
yeah. Fantastic. And obviously, Script Angel newsletter subscribers, I'm sure you've all received in your newsletter a discount code, which I'm sure will pop in over the next couple of newsletters as well as a reminder. Really, really thrilled to be able to offer that to our community, Max. So thank you. Um, another question's come in, which is what has more weighting, the writing or the story? Can a great story, but quite rough, do well? But equally, can a weaker story with a great voice do well? Great question.
That is a good question. We do have some uh, areas in which we evaluate scripts, whether it's concept, story, characters, dialogue, this and that. So I think it just comes to like an average of like maybe the story doesn't have the best dialogue, but it has a very strong concept, and the voice of the writer is very commanding. That is what makes a script stand out because we understand that there's also the opportunity to revise in the future.
Yeah,
But as long as you have a very good presentation of a concept of a story of your characters, that makes the script stand out, and that gets your these can get your script read. But there's also, you know what, we really like this, but I think there's room for improvement here.
yeah. I think it always comes down to that, doesn't it? Which is that if it's really strong in one area, that will absolutely pull the average, the overall score in the evaluation up
Yeah.
massively. It's only if it's not a particularly original story, it's not a really strong voice, and it's not well executed, then obviously if all the scores are down there, it won't progress. But if some of them are really strong, it will pull it up. So absolutely, yeah.
And also, I think this is also an opportunity to talk about how this is about like helping the writers, embrace their own voice and improve where they need to improve. So, for example, if the writer has a very good concept and a very good story, but still has an issue when it comes to writing dialogue, it's just something that maybe doesn't come naturally to them. I mean, if the script's selected, we're gonna pair them with someone who can help them develop and polish that dialogue.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you say we all appreciate that this is not a shooting script. This is
Yes.
this is a development work in progress. But you also want as a writer to put in the very best execution of your work. If you've got a compelling idea, you want to execute it in the most compelling way possible. So yeah, it goes back to
Definitely.
that kind of. I wouldn't recommend putting in a first draft because it will pull that evaluation down a little bit.
Yes.
That makes sense. Fantastic. Any more questions? I think we've exhausted them, Max. But thank you all
Yes,
so
we've gone
much.
through all of the question.
Yeah, I think so. Let me just check. Oh, thanks for coming in the Q&A. I think we're good. Thank you so much, Lena, for that message.
Yeah, thank you for
Um,
being here and listening to us.
Thank you for everyone for attending. It's really, really great. So many of you could come. I hope we've answered all of your questions. Really appreciate your time this evening. And yeah, if you're a Script Angel newsletter subscriber, look out because we'll be popping that discount in. We've already put it in once. We'll put it in a few more times over the coming weeks. Deadline for submissions is Max.
March 2nd. So
March
we're
the
just a
2nd.
few weeks away from that.
Yeah, exciting. Good luck to anybody who decides to put in for it. And thank you all for attending, and thank you so much for your time tonight, Max. It was incredibly
Yes,
helpful.
I'm just gonna leave on the chat the email to the competition in case there are any other questions that, before submitting. This is the email that they can message to
Lovely.
scriptcompetition@raindance.co.uk.
Lovely. Have you all seen that, guys? So I'll leave this running for another minute or two, even while we say goodbye. So you can grab that email that Max has very kindly put into the chat. So it's in the chat, not in the Q&A. And there is an email address there that you can pop any other questions you didn't get to put to Max tonight. Thank you everyone for attending. We'll say goodnight to you, and thank you very much for your time again, Max.
Yes, thank you so much for the opportunity, Hayley. This is very exciting, and I'm just very thrilled to see how this progresses into the finalists and stuff.
Yeah, us too. Thank you so much, everyone, and we'll leave it there. Thanks, Max.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.